Hello friends, this is Srilata Sunil from JHB Sardar Primary English School. This video on nutrition in plants part 2 explains the other modes of nutrition in plants. Friends, before entering into this topic, in the last video we learned about photosynthesis. We saw that during the process of photosynthesis, the important raw materials are carbon dioxide and water. Now the question that arises in your mind is, how is the exchange of gases occurs in these plants? Here the stomata plays an important role. What are stomata? Stomata are tiny pores on the surface of leaves. When we examine a leaf under a microscope, you can see the tiny pores. And these tiny pores play an important role by permitting the movement of gases such as oxygen, carbon dioxide and water vapor to diffuse between the interior and outer surface of the plant tissues. Children, you can see the diagram of the stomata. The green pigments present in the leaf are called chlorophyll. You can see the opening of stomatal opening also. Now let us learn about other modes of nutrition in plants. Like humans and animals, such plants depends on the food produced by other plants. They use the heterotrophic mode of nutrition. Some plants do not have chlorophyll and cannot synthesize their own food and are known as heterotrophic plants. This type of nutrition can be categorized into parasitic mode of nutrition, insectivorous mode of nutrition, and saprotrophic mode of nutrition and symbiotic mode of nutrition. In that, first one is parasitic plants. Parasitic plants are plants which do not have chlorophyll and cannot prepare their own food. They get their food from the other plants. In this example is Cuscuta. This is a plant. It does not have chlorophyll and you can see it climbs on the other plant and they get nutrients from the host plant. What is host? The plant on which it climbs is called a host. Since it deprives the host of valuable nutrients, it is called parasites. Children, in our body also some parasites are living. You know that? Worms. Worms take nutrients from our body only. So they are also called parasites. Next one is insectivorous plants. Have you seen or heard of plants that can eat animals? There are few plants which can trap insects and digest them. Such plants which feed on insects. In these plants, leaves are modified into a picture-like structure. The end of the picture has a lid which can open and close. When an insect enters the picture, the lid closes and the insect is then digested by digestive juice secreted in the picture. Such insect-eating plants are called insectivorous plants. Next one is saprotrophs. What is the word sapro means? Anything dead or decayed. Saprotrophs are plants which do not have chlorophyll and cannot prepare their own food. They get their food from dead and decaying organic matter. You might have seen packets of mushrooms sold in the vegetable markets. They are saprotrophs. These organisms are called fungi. They have a different mode of nutrition. They secrete digestive juices on the dead and decaying matter and convert it into a solution. Then they absorb the nutrients from it. This mode of nutrition in which organisms take in nutrients in solution form from dead and decaying matter is called saprotrophic mode of nutrition. Plants which use saprotrophic mode of nutrition are called saprotrophs. Next one is symbiotic relationship. Some organisms live together and share shelter and nutrients. This is called symbiotic relationship. For example, certain fungi live in the roots of trees. The tree provides nutrients to the fungus and in return receives help from it to take up water and nutrients from the soils. In organisms called lichens, a chlorophyll containing partner which is an algae and a fungus live together. The fungus provides shelter and water and minerals to the algae, and in return algae provides food which it prepares by photosynthesis. This type of relationship is known as symbiotic relationship. Now, how do the plants get nutrients? Plant gets nutrients by the process of photosynthesis. In the during this photosynthesis, they get carbohydrates. What about the other minerals? The other minerals like nitrogen, phosphorus and potassium etc. they take from the soil only. But usually crops require a lot of nitrogen to make proteins. So you learn that nitrogen gas is available in air only, but plant cannot use it. They can use carbon dioxide. They need nitrogen in a soluble form. So there is a bacteria called rhizobium can take atmospheric nitrogen and convert it into a soluble form. What is rhizobium? Rhizobium is a soil bacteria that fixes atmospheric nitrogen once it finds a base inside the roots of leguminous plants. The bacterium called rhizobium can take atmospheric nitrogen and convert it into a soluble form. But rhizobium cannot make its own food. So it lives in the roots of leguminous plants. So in return, plant provide food and shelter to the bacteria. Yes, they have symbiotic relationship. So children, in this chapter, you learn that most of the plants are autotrophs. Only a few plants adopt other modes of nutrition like parasitic mode of nutrition and saprotrophic mode of nutrition. All animals are categorized as heterotrophs since they depend on plants and other animals for food. So that's all for today. Hope you all understood the chapter. Thank you.